How is it going, PPL fans? My name is Onesie, and I am back with another goddamn loser sat in front of me, and it makes me very, very sad. But still, I have the absolute pleasure or displeasure of interviewing one of my favourite coaches in the league this season, Mr. TheUziGunner, the Bangladeshi prince himself. How the hell are you, mate?
That was most certainly an introduction, my friend. But yes, I'm doing pretty good. Finally moved to my new place in Australia. I've been fighting kangaroos on a daily basis, and yeah.
Too many Kangaskans running around. It's one of those.
Too many Kangaskans, too many of them.
So the reason that we're doing this interview today is as the season draws to a close, we already have playoffs locked in, and unfortunately you were not one of the coaches who was able to make playoffs. So I have one question to start things off. What the hell happened this season, Uzi?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, so credit to be great given where it's due. The PPL competitors in this season are very, very solid. The people who I faced definitely had their A game on, and they were able to perform on the level where they were able to most certainly best me. So great, huge shout outs to them for playing so exceptionally well. That and at the same time, keep in mind, I'm not saying this would detract from their playing skills because all the credit is to be given to them for being able to pull it off. But I would be lying if I said that I would be lying if I said that a lot of it, or at least a portion of it, didn't come down to the team that I essentially had to fill up for. And granted, while I did most certainly have the opportunity of being able to be able to change it to my wants and so on, other than the fact that this was a ride that came to me after two matches that I ended up competing in, a lot of the options that I had available at that time were not really entirely on the basis of how I would personally go at things. You would never see me ever choose Zoroark as my Terra captain when this piece of garbage just gives it away by having its hat on when it terastallizes. Are you kidding me? Gabriel, what are you doing, man? But yeah. Finding that out when I played Chuckle King was certainly an experience. But yeah, a lot of the things that I had this season were pretty much based on trying to make the most out of what someone else had ended up crafting and what I had available for me and then. And I did not have what I felt to be fully complimentary towards me when it was all said and done, but it is what it is. I had a good time though.
I'm glad you had a good time. So you feel like maybe you weren't able to bring the most out of the team that you'd inherited. You weren't able to bring out its potential the best. I know that you did make some changes with a bunch of transactions on the final week. I say final week. The final week of transaction. I can't even speak either. The final week of trades. You did make a bunch of changes to try and craft it and mold it into a team that you would, feel more comfortable using. Unfortunately, things weren't able to work out for you, though. And why do you think that is?
Well, other than the fact that a lot of people were pretty much dumping and taking stuff in the last possible second, one Pokemon that I really wanted by my side was Skeledirge. Not if it were up to me, I would not be taking Volcarona at all. Because while it had potential, and it most certainly did pay dividends when I played Chuckle King, it wasn't exactly what I felt was best suitable for my team in terms of cohesion and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And literally as I was about to make my selection, and because with the whole format of it all, you have to write everything down and mid-typing, Jamie just swoops in and goes I'm gonna be dropping Volcarona for Skeledirge or some shit. And I was like, are you kidding me?
So a little bit of insight into behind the scenes here. So as Uzi has just said, when we're doing trades, we have to write down what we're dropping and what we're taking and add up everything together. And Uzi was having to do his fairly last minute just because of dealing with a lot of personal stuff that was going on in terms of university and stuff. And there was a meme going on because you had 2 mons sniped from you in trades. So you'd made it very clear to people that you wanted certain mons beforehand, and everyone was like, right, I'm going to take this now, and it was stressing you out, wasn't it?
It was very much stressful. Look, and like, ultimately, when it's all said and done, maybe I could have like written an entire log beforehand and so on, but because of the nature of, you know, that being the day of the uploads, it being bloody 3 a.m. and you know, like, me not even being finished with getting the upload ready and so on, it was stressful, man. But you know, like, that is just what's to be expected when you come in like in the last second. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's something that, you know, we should probably acknowledge as well. You did come in, obviously, taking over the mantle from Kelly under the radar, and, you know, it was very last minute. You had to play 2 games in 1 week, so I think part of that might have contributed to an unfortunate, you know, run of games, a loss of form, etc. So that is something that we should probably acknowledge. There were circumstances out of your control, but still...
To be fair...
Oh, go on.
To be fair... Sorry to cut you off there. To be fair, and when it was all said and done, like, this league was still graceful enough to allow me to get ample enough time to play each and every single one of my opponents. So I'm definitely, like, not gonna take it away from that. Although, like, some conversations needed to be had and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we tried to be as accommodating as we can, but we did, you know, we recognise that you came in late and you had to try and play a bit of catch up for circumstances that weren't your fault.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help.
Exactly.
So that's a bit unfortunate. But I guess
Indeed.
What I have to ask is, you got your win in your first week using some very, very clever heat. A set that I know some people had helped you to build that team, and you piloted it excellently. But after you made these trades, that's when it started to feel like it went downhill for you. Do you feel like you had trouble building? Do you feel like you just got outplayed? What actually happened?
Ultimately, I would say that even in the circumstance, even in the, I wouldn't even say that like making the trades was my downfall, because I pretty much used the exact same team in the week after, because like, okay, so this is the part where I'm gonna mention that. Feel free to cut this off if this is not a part of it.
All good.
Yeah, okay. But like, yeah, basically, since the PPL is 1 week ahead of schedule and so on, because of that, all the mid trades that I made, they were in effect after my week 5 game against Mephisto. So I had to pretty much use the exact same team for another week. Okay, and now this is where I catch things up. Yeah, so basically I wouldn't even say that personally, because I used the same exact team again against Mephisto, and he 5-0'd me. So like, I wouldn't even say like it was me trading was my downfall at all. I personally think that that Kelly's style in terms of drafting and my style in terms of drafting are 2 completely separate things. I am very meticulous in terms of what I draft, and I'm not saying that I have to have a team, I have to have a volt switcher, I have to have a spiker and all that kind of stuff. I'm someone who puts the most focus into speed tiers, because in this meta game, speed is king. Speed is what decides what a winner is and what a loser is, because that is in itself what ultimately defines this offensive meta game. Because with you going first, you have the scope towards out, you know, like pressurizing your opponent and being able to leverage the heck out of it. So in that sense, while I did try to like get in a lot of speed for myself with all the trades and transactions, I don't feel like the options that were available best accommodated my personal style in terms of how I go at it, which is what you're seeing from me out of the GBA right now, which, not trying to brag or anything, but I'm undefeated right now. The only undefeated coach.
We like to see it. We love to see it, man.
Thank you very much. Although then again, they allowed me to get Dragonite for $25. a Terra normal Dragonite. But yes.
Massive threat. That Dragonite is going to do you ever so well. I do think, though, that is a very, very good point you raise. Obviously, speed is incredibly important in this metagame, and we're seeing Pokemon that in previous draft leagues might not have been the most optimal picks, stuff like Jolteon and Electrode getting incredible amounts of mileage out of them just because they're faster than their opponents, and with the Terra, they're able to, give themselves a power boost and increase their coverage. So I think that's a really good point you make. Speed is ever so important in this metagame. Now, moving on a little bit from that, I do have to ask you, who do you think was your opponent? Who do you think was your favorite opponent to play this season?
Honestly, that is a bit of a tough question because like a lot of the stuff that I had to deal with this season was me trying to do damage, like making the most out of what I had given to me. But if I would have to choose, I guess Shuckle King would be a very good choice because other than the fact that I skillfully dodged 2 gunk shots from his
just better trained, just better trained.
Yeah, just better trained. I mean, it's the Sneasel's fault for not hitting a turtle, like a turtle that's flying. Come on. If you can't hit a turtle that's flying and has base 30 or is it 50 speed, I don't know. If you can't hit a turtle, what is it like? That's just on you.
Yeah, it's just on you, man.
Yeah, that's just on you. But jokes aside, I felt like that was definitely a very impactful match that I had against Shuckle because I could not record it as I was literally about to move out on 2 days 2 days later, and I didn't have the stuff ready. But jamming out 2 Team Stars, the Team Star boss team, while playing on handheld, and also the fact that I just misplayed really hard turn 1 where I just gave up my Sneasler. In fact, fun fact, in this entire season, I never clicked Dire Claw.
I think that's crazy. It's like one of the most spammable moves in history, and it didn't get clicked once.
Literally. My God, look at talk about being compatible with Sneasler. But I was not able to click. I just literally sacked my Sneasler turn 1 to a misplay. But then it just pissed me off to the point where I was like, is this how I'm gonna go down? No. I'm gonna fight for it. And literally afterwards, I just played my heart out against Shuckle. And obviously the misses really came in clutch. But I feel like that was what I did was able to make work out of really dire circumstances.
Dire circumstances.
Yeah. It was I think that was a very good return to form for me, and hopefully I'll be able to keep that up with whatever's next.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think there's an important lesson to learn from that. Even if you make a bad play, even if you miss an important move that could cost you the game. And we've seen this with yourself in that game and also in the game between Shuckle and ellysux. It doesn't matter what kind of hacks happens, doesn't matter what kind of misplay you make. If you keep your cool, keep your head down and keep fighting, there is every chance you can come back into the game and either claw back some differential or snatch a win. And that is the ultimate lesson. Your mental is 90% of the game, and the coaches that have made it this season have kind of demonstrated that in spades. And even yourself making a comeback in that game was down to your mental. You stayed cool and calm and you enjoyed yourself, and it made for an amazing match. So yeah, keep it cool, and it will all come together. Now that is your favorite. Yep. That's your favorite game of the season, or your favorite opponent. Who was your least favorite opponent to play?
I mean, if there was a least favorite opponent to play, I guess it would have to be Mephisto, in the sense that, other than Hydro Pump with my Pincurchin just straight up missing, like that, I didn't like this. Once again, comes down to the team composition that I had, which I felt was not best equipped towards suiting my style, but there wasn't really much that I could do in that specific matchup, especially when people thought it was okay to ban Oricorio from terastallizing, but allow a fucking low kicks to terastallize into a dark type, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Bug type, huh?
Some of the Terra rules
Like,
for this season were a little bit questionable. They will be addressed moving forward.
it's all good, man. I'm just ripping you.
I know.
But yeah. Ultimately, like, I would say, I mean, I don't want to say that like it was all this was a bad experience for me per se, because a lot of these people I competed against were people I really wanted to face, and a lot of the circumstances involving, you know, it going wrong and so on was far more personal in the sense that I was moving and all that kind of stuff, which especially showed against Joey, I think, where I felt like I did not perform to my best of abilities because of, you know, the circumstances I was in with just moving in and so on. But ultimately, when it's all said and done, like, it still does not mean that I did not enjoy, you know, I did not enjoy getting the chance to play them. All these things were what I look forward to, and I know that once, if there is a next time, which there will be, hopefully.
There absolutely will. They can make that confirmed first here.
All right, sounds good. Then in that case, when that time comes, we shall most certainly be able to have everything go the way it's supposed to go. Fair, you know, completely fair situation, a fair a fair fight in a time that accommodates both of us, enough prep time, and hopefully good enough content for everybody to enjoy, which I feel like is the most important thing for the viewers.
Absolutely. And I do have to say, your content, especially your first video back, was absolutely incredible. You basically took all the good parts of Draft League, all the best ways to do team building, and smushed it all together and really made some really solid content. Everyone was gassing you up, and you absolutely deserve to be gassed up, because that is exactly what the PPL is all about. We want to make this shit watchable for the viewer, we want to make it entertaining, and you've gained yourself certainly a hell of a lot of fans from this season. So congratulations on a very successful season in that regard. In other regards, not so successful, but in that one is one where you certainly came out on top.
No, I appreciate it. And ultimately, one thing that I want to personally highlight in now, since we're talking about this, is that I also want to give a huge shout outs to every single coach competing in here in the PPL that have taken the extra initiatives to make their content more stand out far more. Because if I'm being completely honest, and like I'm not saying this as an insult, I'm not saying this as a rib at people that don't take these initiatives and so on, but like, draft format from a content standpoint has always been very simplistic, in the sense that people would just upload themselves with a face cam on Pokemon Showdown, run through their team with unscripted commentary, play their games, and then just slap Glitch X City music in it or something. But like, right now, what we're seeing is people going out of their ways to understand that there's more ways to have fun than just playing the game, recording yourself, and just calling it a day. We're seeing skits from Mephisto, with all his advocacies and so on, with fathers and sons, and the topic of cucking. Yes.
Why does this always happen in our interviews, Uzi?
I have no idea. He's a pretty interesting fellow. Next time I'll just say to him, advocating for pineapple on pizza. But yeah.
No, I totally get what you mean, though. I mean, absolutely, it has felt like it's been a renaissance for content with Mephisto, with yourself, with Ellie, with the cleanness of Joey's videos. Like, everyone's put so much, and even SK. Like, SK's skits have been absolutely hilarious. So this has been a fantastic league to moderate and to be a part of, and yourself has been a very big reason for that. I guess the final thing I do want to ask you is, what does the future hold for TheUziGunner, and where can we find you?
When it's all said and done, y'all know where to find me right now. The channel link shall most certainly be in the description down below, so feel free to check me out. And as far as Draft League content goes, when it's all said and done, don't worry about it, because your boy's gonna keep you all well fed, because, you know, I'm still competing in this season of the GBA, doing pretty good so far. So hopefully we can keep the ball rolling. And yeah, like, ultimately, when it comes down to content, I do not plan on stopping anytime soon. I feel like right now, like, this is something I have no problem telling to you and every single person watching. I felt like I pressured myself a lot and put a lot of stakes on myself to the point where it stifled me creatively, because the content that I usually make right now outside of League format is something that takes a lot of effort. And I felt like I positioned myself to a point where unless it's on that standard which I had set for myself, nobody was gonna end up watching it. And that in itself has led to such a low frequency of uploads on my behalf. But now to be able to like do this on a weekly basis and like put in my own creative integrations in a way that in a scope that fits it, being done in the span of 1 week, playing against others and so on, and being able to get a consistent support from all the people that choose to watch my content, from all of you people that are choosing to spend time off your days watching this video. It is very, very liberating for me, because now I can literally say with like full certainty that I am back. I'm back and I'm ready to kick some ass. I'm ready to like get myself to a far more higher level than I've ever been before. So whether it be draft format, whether it be the Pokemon Adventures manga, which you should totally read, or anything else, trust me when I say, y'all are in for a good time. Courtesy of the TheUziGunner.
Courtesy of the TheUziGunner and his Bullet Punch Club indeed. Thank you very, very much for taking this time to have a chat with me, Uzi. Commiserations on not making playoffs, but congratulations on a very successful season otherwise. That is all we have time for here today. I've been Onesie Bidet. This has been the TheUziGunner, and we will catch you in another interview at some other point. Make sure you guys are checking out Uzi. All of his links will be down in the description, and you smell amazing today. Thank you very much for joining, and catch you later.